Today we're going to be talking about Earth Day in the English classroom. I'm joined here by Dr. Heber El-Sharif, who's my colleague in the academic department, and we'll be looking at issues of the environment, bit of CLIL, and we're going to be playing a Kahoot quiz. So check out the chat. Actually, let me open up the chat for everyone here. One moment. Okay, so the chat is open to you guys as well too, if you want to put any comments in there. Um, as always, you will receive a certificate of participation and a webinar handout sent out in the next few days. If you don't receive it and you don't find it in your spam, do email me at formazione@mlaworld.com. The handout will have all the information here. It will have some extra links, and it will also have the link to the full Kahoot quiz. We've got an abbreviated form in here. That email is at the bottom of the page, of all the pages here. Okay. Next Wednesday, the 22nd, is Earth Day, and issues of pollution, climate change, endangered animals, and alternative energy dominate the headlines. Maybe not right at the moment with all the stuff that's going on around the world, but they'll be back and will only become more important in coming years. So while teenagers may often feel powerless, student protests have shown that they feel strongly about these issues, and giving them the ability to communicate about it in English may be a necessary step to form alliances. Let us know in the chat, have you ever used issues related to the environment in your English classes? We always have some objectives, so I hope by the end of this webinar you'll be better able to identify and explain new vocabulary regarding the environment in your class. Incorporate environmental issues into your English classes as well as physics and geography CLIL classes. So we're going to be looking a little bit of CLIL today, which is something that we often get requests for in the chat and in the post-webinar survey. Introduce speaking and writing activities into your English classes on issues regarding the environment. And we're going to, as often in my webinars, speak a little bit about literature at the end. So we're going to have a something like a couple of 100 years old, but still quite relevant about pollution and the environment. On the page now, you'll see the Kahoot. Actually, let me change the page because it'll still have this. Okay, but let me swap over. There's a few people registered already. Okay, so I hope Heba, just can you confirm you can see the registration page? Or
Yes. Yeah, I can.
I'll give everyone a moment or two to register there. You can just go to Kahoot and type in that. Let me put a link again in the chat so that you can join from there as well in case you come in a bit later. So I just put a link in the chat. Give a moment to do that. Just to let you know, this is a quiz that we created. The version we're going to look at the moment is just like 4 questions, but there's a full one linked in the handout, and that's public, and you can use it in your classes. Remember that a free Kahoot account is possible, and I think you can have around I think it's about 15 or 20 participants. You can always put students in pairs or whatever. I think we've got a paid one that we use in our summer, so we can get quite a few people in this. Okay. I think we got 70. Ooh, it's going up every time I say 75
Yep,
around.
yep.
Okay.
75, yep.
Okay. Anyway, remember if you don't have Kahoot, you can always put it in the chat, your answers in the chat. I think Heber will be looking at the chat there. So
I will.
but
Let me just add that when you were talking about the students being interested in this, so as my kids are very interested in climate change, and I was quite surprised in the beginning, and what they said to me is that this is the world that we are going to be living in 10, 15 years from now. So for them, this is their future. It's not something like for us, it's something, that like we might live to see it, we might not, right? But for the kids, this is very real for them.
exactly. And so, the sooner we sort of get in order, the better, I think. Okay. Um, with that, I think we might start. As I said, if you haven't joined yet, you can play along in the chat. Okay. And as I said, this will be shared in the handout, or a full version of this will be shared. If you haven't played Kahoot before, it's a great way to do it. And you don't need to create the quizzes, although you can. There's a lot of quizzes there, and this one will be shared with you. Okay. So let's begin. Okay, three, two, one. Let's go for the first question. So, how much plastic is there in the ocean? So, are we looking at 50 billion, 1 million, 8 million, or 80 million tons? Okay, answers are coming in here. We're going to have a countdown. Remember, on Kahoot, you can also vary the amount of time for the countdown. You can also edit any things that you see, you can edit. So we had 6 people correct with 8 million tons. 8 million tons too many, I think. And let's see, Rob got in there first with the correct answer. Okay, but well done to all the people coming in behind me. True or false question. So Lithuania has the best recycling rate in Europe. True or false? Again, if you're not playing on the app, let us know in the chat. Here we go. Oh, a lot of people got that correct. So it is true. It has the best recycling rate in Europe. Let's see. Rob's dropped down one and DN is up. So very close though. Okay. A few new entries in Neri and Manila. Okay, which of the following is a greenhouse gas? Oxygen, carbon dioxide, nitrogen, or hydrogen? Should be an easy one, I think, this one.
I actually don't know this one. Do you?
Of course, I
Before
know it.
you read it when you did the Kahoot?
I made the quiz. I knew it. I knew it. Okay. And
Yeah,
so did
right.
a lot of our participants. Carbon dioxide, yes. Okay. The other ones are, well, particularly hydrogen, oxygen, and nitrogen are in the atmosphere, but they're not counted as greenhouse gases. I guess there's parts of hydrogen in the atmosphere, but not many. Let's see. Oh, Rob's back up again. Okay, but a few new entries in there. And Lucy Lux is the highest climber. I think this might be the last one. Complete the sentence. One of the most important issues facing humans is climate change. So is here a question of grammar, the climate change, climate change, and climate change, or just climate change? These are good things to do with your students because these sort of articles are used quite often in different languages in different ways. So it's always a good thing. Okay. Very good. Everyone who said it, we don't have an article there. So is climate change. Okay. So the winners are in third place, we have Bonella. Very well. Very good. And Algae is number two, sorry. Okay. And the winner is Rob.
Rob. Yeah, I thought it would be Rob.
We saw that coming, didn't we? Okay.
Hmm.
And we have some runners up there. Okay. As I said, this is just a short version of the full one. So you can do that. Remember, with anything on Kahoot, you can even duplicate our one and you can get like add on some other questions, vary the questions, things like that. It's a great platform that you can do. Okay. And you can see session summaries, things like that. Okay. With that, let's swap back to our slides. Okay. And I think I'm going to hand over to Heber, who's going to talk us through a little bit of CLIL.
Okay. Hi. Hello, everyone. So this is this slide talks about a worksheet, a CLIL physics worksheet called Looking at Energy Sources. You're going to get the worksheet in the handout, don't worry. What it does is it talks about renewable energy sources and includes a listening comprehension exercise. It looks at conjunctions to help them better present an argument as part of a discussion, which could be an example of Cambridge B2 first speaking practice.
We
Other
always
related, mm,
we always look a little bit. We're always quite focused on Cambridge exams here, partly because MLA does them, provides them in our colleges, but also because I know we get a lot of requests in the chat for more information about Cambridge exams. And sorry to interrupt you there, Heba.
no, of course, no worries. Other related topics that are also used in part four of the speaking exam are things like air travel is very bad for the environment. So is it wrong to fly abroad for a holiday? And the way these are presented, they can become discussion topics or debates in class that you can build a lesson on. Many plants and animals are going extinct. Is this a problem? Do you think individual action can save the environment? How is the climate likely to change in the future due to global warming? And these are all things that you can build lessons around.
Yeah, and I think these are sort of particularly good for the Cambridge B2, also the Cambridge C1, C2, I guess, if you've got students that high that are doing these speaking exams. They often at the part three and part four, the environment's a very common topic in these, partly because I mean, as we're saying, it is in the news a lot. It's essential vocabulary. It's things that students are interested in. So, you know, these sort of things can be really good. And Earth Day, all of these things.
Mhm.
As you can see, this is the handout we're talking about. Okay. Actually, it's a couple of pages too.
Yep. So this handout is the renewable energy lesson, and these pictures give you vocabulary about renewable energy, and they give you questions that you can use in class to prompt discussions. Things like solar panel, ground source heating, hydropower, et cetera, et cetera. These are all phrases that you can use, pictures, and questions to start discussions. If you look at the handout here, it has in it the conjunctions, just to remind if anyone's forgotten. Conjunctions are words that join two clauses in a sentence. And there's three different types in the worksheet of conjunctions. There's cause and effect, and it gives you three examples. Contrast, and it gives you three examples, and addition. And then it gives the students sentences with mistakes where they can correct these mistakes and learn from them. And then you guys could have them write the correct sentence if you'd like.
And we have the key in the handout too,
Mhm.
so you don't have to do it first. You can hand these out and then follow along with your version too. These are not obviously all the conjunctions that exist, but they are the ones that are sort of essential at, let's say, B1 and B2 level. Okay. But they're really good again for speaking and also for writing, particularly in these sort of exams where you often have to present two sides of an argument. So you're looking at contrast, you're talking about cause and effect, and obviously giving several examples. So addition, all these three uses of them.
And this could be a follow-up to a lesson on conjunctions. So if you're doing a grammar lesson just on conjunctions and then you want to build on that and get them to use them and make it more interesting, then I feel like this could be a great follow-up lesson for that.
I think this is a really good point that it's nice to incorporate grammar into a lesson uh, on another topic so that they're not just looking at conjunctions for a whole lesson. You get them to incorporate it with other parts.
Yep. Okay, CLIL geography. So this activity is going to let your students get creative with the new language that they've learned. After studying weather vocabulary, you can put them in pairs or small groups and have them script a weather report and then they act it out. It's a lot of fun for them to do.
We've got this video too that's quite good for low level students. Okay? I think we've had a lot of requests in the chat, in the surveys for activities for low level students, for younger students. And I think this is an activity or a video that could be really useful in this way.
So you give them the example and then you let them run with it. They have fun with it. And the worksheet is in the handout as usual.
Oh, sorry, I skipped ahead
No
there.
worries.
you for tuning into Maple Leaf's Worldwide Weather Report. We'll be checking on the weather all over the world with Tim Tiger. First, Canada. How's the weather?
It's snowy. It's snowy in Canada.
Thank you, Tim. Next, Mexico. Tim, how's the weather?
It's sunny. It's sunny in Mexico.
Thank you, Tim. Next, England. Tim, how's the weather?
It's foggy. It's foggy in England.
Thank you, Tim. Next, France. Tim, how's the weather?
It's rainy. It's rainy in France. Oh.
Thank you, Tim. Next, Russia. Tim, how's the weather?
It's cold. It's cold in Russia.
Thank you, Tim. Next, Australia. Tim, how's the weather?
Hold on. I'm coming. It's hot. It's hot in Australia.
Are you okay, Tim?
I'm good, Marty. What's next?
Next is Japan.
Japan? All right.
Next is Japan. Tim, how's the weather in Japan? Tim?
I'm coming.
Tim?
Oh, I'm on my way. Oh, I'm almost there. It's cloudy. It's cloudy in Japan.
Thank you, Tim.
Oh.
Next is Mars.
Mars?
Yes, Mars.
No, Marty. I quit.
Well, thank you for tuning in to Maple Leaf's Worldwide Weather. See you next time.
Nice fun video there for younger students. I enjoyed it too. So maybe younger.
That was a lot of fun.
Okay. Some sort of simple vocabulary that can be quite fun to present in this sort of way. But going on from weather reports, you could also use vocabulary, what we've got in the handout, get your students to talk about extreme weather, okay, that they know. So you could talk about things like drought, floods, etc. Okay, we'll watch this video and make notes on any of those which are seen. Okay, so you could show this video and get them to research one of the examples. Okay, they could come up with a weather report using extreme weather. So, for example, prepare yourself for gale force winds and don't be surprised to see a cow fly by. It really will be that windy. They could present it to the class. Alternatively, they could make a project on one form of extreme weather, causes, effects, preventative measures, maybe even whether it's affected by climate change, things like that. This one, let's have a look at this one too. So here we have a bit more higher level, maybe a bit more serious version.
The typical climate here in the UK is mild and we have 4 distinct seasons. The UK is prone to extreme weather, maybe not as extreme as other parts of the world. However, flash flooding and cold spells are all common in the UK. With a changing climate, more and more people are being affected by extreme weather. For example, forest fires in California, flooding in Mozambique, and heat waves in Southeast Asia. It's getting warmer, sea levels rising, and rainfall patterns are changing. Extreme weather can be devastating. This is why we develop technologies to help communities access severe weather warnings, where we can inform the public of any extreme weather. Good forecasting means that we can warn these communities to plan and respond, as well as helping organisations and emergency responders across the world to plan and take action to help keep communities safe. Climate change will have an effect on extremes all over the world, so we have to be prepared.
So again, we've got some material in the handout to go with that video. Sorry, let me just. And to finish off our webinar, we're going to be looking at some literature with themes on the environment and pollution. So we're going to be looking at Dickens' Hard Times, one of his most studied books, I would say, particularly, I guess, because it's got relevance to history in the sense of the Victorian sort of Industrial Revolution, but also relevant to today. Okay, so perhaps the strongest indictment seen in the Italian English literature syllabus of the impact of pollution can have on humans comes from a book published way back in 1854. So this is, if you are Italian, which I know a lot of our participants are, you will know, you may know that when students study Dickens, they often study Hard Times in their liceo. Dickens' 10th novel, Hard Times, is many things. One, it's a critique of utilitarianism. It's a defense of the creative humanistic mind against rote learning. And it's a searing indictment of exploitative employment practices. However, one of the strongest passages comes at the beginning of chapter 5. In this, the town in which the novel is set and its inhabitants are described. Here we see Dickens, the great comic writer, not necessarily at this moment, but at his most scathing, describing Coketown, a northern industrial town, possibly based on Manchester or Preston, okay, which in those times were some of the most industrialized places in the world. Okay, so if we look at this, we have this text, and we'll look at this a little bit in detail in a moment, but I'll read it first. It was a town of red brick, or of brick that would have been red if the smoke and ashes had allowed it. But as matters stood, it was a town of unnatural red and black, like the painted face of a savage. It was a town of machinery and tall chimneys, out of which interminable serpents of smoke trailed themselves for ever and ever, and never got uncoiled. It had a black canal in it, and a river that ran purple with ill-smelling dye, and vast piles of building full of windows where there was a rattling and trembling all day long, and where the piston of the steam engine worked monotonously up and down like the head of an elephant in a state of melancholy and madness. It contained several large streets, all very like one another, and in many small streets still more like one another, inhabited by people equally like one another, who all went in and out at the same hours, with the same sound upon the same pavements, to do the same work, and to whom every day was the same as yesterday and tomorrow, and every year the counterpart of the last and the next. Okay. So just if we look at some things about this passage, it can be a quite interesting way to get students used to the sort of this textual analysis to see the sort of care that Dickens put into this. As always, he names his towns like he names his characters, evoking positive or negative connotation. Coketown, not referring to Coca-Cola, but referring to coke, which is a form of refined coal used in furnaces. He draws on similes and metaphors of savages, snakes, and mad elephants to show the industrial process in a threatening jungle aspect. As you can see in the text here, I've put those sort of the similes and the metaphors of this sort of wild world in red there. In yellow, I've put the repetition. So he repeats a lot of the colors. He repeats certain expressions, streets, the same, this word same all again, other, one another, okay, ever and ever, all of these things. So it's sort of, again, it's emphasizing not just for a sort of poetic or rhetorical strength, although it's also doing that, but it's to emphasize this monotonous repetition that some things are like others, some people are like the other people. And I've underlined all of the visual descriptions, so the smells, sounds, movements, and felt sensations that are evoked to expand the reader's experience of the town. The town's evoked in an immersive manner. I've got a worksheet where this is quoted, and we ask the students to, I think it's circle the similes, underline the repetitions, and underline with a wavy part the smells and sounds. So it can be a good introduction to sort of this method of Dickens, and also tie into issues of the environment, pollution, things like that. They could do it. This sort of thing can be done also with other texts as well. Anyway, to conclude, as Heather said before, students, young people really care about the environment, or at least we hope they do. Whether it's climate change activism, wild animals, or just clean beaches, they also have different ideas about solutions and priorities. So why not encourage an in-class debate? We often come back to this idea of having debates in class, and we might be repeating one of our webinars on how to host debates in class. So why not do it? Can be a really good fun, and get them to use these sort of skills that they've been learning, the grammar, the vocabulary, the conjunctions as we looked at, and obviously getting to do this with pronunciation. The environment, as I said before, is a very common theme of Cambridge B2 first and above. So the C1 and the C2. Writing and speaking exams particularly, but not just. You can also have issues of the environment in the use of English and reading also. Preparing students with some knowledge, vocabulary, and expressions will maximize their chances of passing these exams. And obviously the exams are just a record of their level of English. So the more vocabulary you can give them, the better their English will be, whether they're doing Cambridge or not. Okay. Whatever your view about her, I know not everyone's a big fan, but Greta Thunberg is a powerful force who shows just how a strong command of English, which is not her first language, can really help a young second language speaker move onto the world stage. Obviously, she's not as young as she was before, but she did start out with a very strong command of English even when she's very young, and used that to get prominence throughout the Western world. Brainstorming, task-based learning, songs, videos, news items, all of these are great ideas for using themes of the environment in the English classroom. As always, I welcome your suggestions, so feel free to put them in the chat. You can email us at Formazione with your ideas, and after this webinar, it should direct you to a survey where you can fill out some information. That really helps us. So if you've got the time, it should only take you a couple of minutes. Just let us know.
Lots of people in the chat, sorry to interrupt you, lots of people in the chat are asking for webinars on debates.
Oh, we will do that. I'll schedule one of those very soon then. Okay. Yeah, certainly. We've got a couple. I'll have a look at them, and now we can work out what we want to change, what we want to keep. But yeah, they're really good fun. Okay. And it's, while they're good fun to do, you need to have some certain rules and procedures to make them work. Anyway, thank you, everyone. Thank you for your attention. Thank you, Heather, for co-hosting with me. And everyone will receive a certificate of participation by email soon. As I said, it should come out tomorrow or Monday. If you don't find it in your inbox on Monday or in your spam, okay, contact us at Formazione and I'll get that out to you very soon. There is an accompanying handout, as we've referred to a few times. All the links for the videos, the full Kahoot, and the handouts you saw, plus the text of all the slides is in there, plus a lot of links as well. So again, that'll be on the same email that you receive your certificate with. Please join us next week, the same time next week. We're going to be looking at using comics in the English classroom. That's a fun one. So a lot of activities that students will be interested in, activities that can draw in some students who might not be always so willing to participate in the more dry areas of the English course. Okay. Again, thank you very much, everyone, and thank you, Heather. I'll see
Thank you.
everyone next week. Okay. Bye.
Bye.